Hello, friends, fans, and followers. Matt with Tales on Trails Deer Tracking. We are in season two. I'm going to call this season two of our podcast, episode one. We're going to jump right to November 18th with guest Emily Gutshaw. Hi, Emily. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh, great. Thank you. So here we are, guys. Like I said, this is episode one of what I'm going to call season two. Here in Michigan, it is December 10th. We're in our late season now. This was the last weekend of our muzzleloading season. We are now into um, our late antlerless season in most parts of the state, or quite a few parts of the state anyway. But season or episode one, we're going to jump to November 18th, and I will go back and do a season recap when it's all done, which really should be a season episode one. But no, we're going to jump right to Emily's track because it's a fun one. Um, on November 18th during our firearm season. So Emily is the girlfriend of one of my former football players. And on November 18th, she shot a deer, and I'm going to let Emily tell the story about the hunt and the track as we just have a conversation here. But Emily is not from Michigan. So, Emily, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your hunting background, and we'll just converse from there, Em.
So, I'm originally from Pennsylvania. I hunted with my dad for since I was 12 probably. And I moved to Ohio to go to college and then wound up meeting Cody. And so now I'm here and got my first year here. Um, and there's a lot of emotions through it all, but I there was so much going on through the whole day, and I'm just
Oh yeah.
glad I could get one here.
Well, you did that, but before we start talking about your that particular hunt, I'm excited to get to it. So, um, hunting with your dad, how many deer have you shot in Pennsylvania?
um, I think 3.
Three.
I
Okay,
got my first year out. I got a 6 point, and then I got a doe the next year, and I think I got another doe. So I think a total of about 3.
about three before November 18th of 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so you're 19 now. So how old were you when you started hunting? Did you say
12.
12? Hunting with dad at 12 years old. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
So what are you studying in college? Yeah.
I'm a diesel technology major, so
Oh, no
hoping to
kidding.
be a mechanic.
That is really awesome. So, what school? What's the name of that diesel tech school down there?
University of Northwestern Ohio.
Oh, okay. So is I thought there was a very specific diesel tech school. Maybe that's it. Maybe
There's
I'm not.
UTI.
Okay. Well, cool. So, where are you in your program there? How long have you got to go in your program?
Well, I originally went for high performance, and I realized some things in my brain, and I switched to diesel, hoping it would provide more for me. And I took that in high school too, so I kind of fell back on it a little bit.
That's cool.
And I have about a year left of it.
Okay. Way cool. So, what are you when you do graduate? You looking to get a move to Michigan or just wherever the job takes you? What are you thinking? Have you guys thought about that, or have you
Um,
thought about that?
well, if everything works out, hopefully I'll be moving here to Michigan and finding something worth my while here. Hopefully, that's the plan.
Well,
But
there's opportunities here.
yeah.
That's cool. I did not realize that you were in a diesel tech school. I think that's
Hmm.
cool as crap because
Yep.
you know I work at Spartan, so I work with diesel mechanics, well, fire truck mechanics, I guess I should say, all the time. Um, but there's a place for them, you know,
Hmm.
and a lot of shops that have diesel mechanics. So that's way cool. I did not realize that. I think that's
Yeah.
very cool. I think that's very cool. So okay. So fast forward to deer number 4 on November 18th of 2023 here in the wonderful state of Michigan. Um, so that was a fun day. I know when Cody called me, um, it I was pretty thrilled about it. Was super happy to come help. So you know, tell me about the hunt. How did your day start, and what was your plan for the day?
Well, in the morning, we woke up pretty early and we were just talking, and we actually tossed around even going out that morning for a good 15 minutes, I'd say. I really
Yeah.
wasn't wanting to go out. He was, and I was tired. I wanted to sleep. But I was like, you know what? To get my money's worth, we gotta go. We won't see any laying here. So we went out and we saw a 4 point earlier in the morning, and we were in a blind in the woods a bit, and we were looking down. I don't even know what we were doing, and I just looked up and I looked out one of the windows and I just saw a body, and I was like, well, there's a deer over here. So I kind of nudged his leg and was like, over there, and he didn't even pull up the binoculars or anything. I had never shot a gun like that before. I I've never shot his gun, and my adrenaline was going so much. I was just like, okay, gotta do it. So
So
I
hold on a second, Em. So you
Mhm.
say you've never shot Cody's gun, and that gun was a 450.
Yes.
It
Hmm.
was a 450. So what did you shoot your Pennsylvania deer with?
All crossbow archery.
All
The
archery
only
crossbow.
Yeah, the
Okay.
only gun I've ever shot was a 22, and that was at a range. So
Oh, no kidding.
that was
Okay.
that was
So
it.
now you had your crossbow in the box blind with you, right?
Yes, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So you had the crossbow, and Cody had his rifle, and you were both hunting, and the intent was then must be for if you got one, you were going to shoot it with the crossbow. Probably that was the plan.
Yeah, if one came close enough, yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. So now you said you looked out and you saw this body. How far away was this body that you saw?
I think it was
Roughly.
I think it was around 100 yards, maybe a little bit over
Okay.
100 to 120.
All right.
It was far enough.
Far enough. And was it coming towards you, or was it, what was it doing?
Well, when I saw it, it was just coming out of the woods in the very corner of the field, and then
Okay.
it started to go back towards the woods a little bit, and it ran into the woods after that because I shot it.
Yeah, that's what they'll do. Okay, so it was out there in the corner, and that corner is where we started the track then.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yep.
So it was out there in the corner. So yeah, you're right. That was a little over 100 yards, Em.
Yeah.
If from that box blind where you guys were to that corner where we started the track. Yeah, it was a good poke across that field. So
Hmm.
so whose idea was it to decide that you're going to shoot a rifle you never shot before? Did Cody say, "Hey, grab the rifle and shoot it"? Did you say, "Hey, give me your rifle, I'm going to shoot it"? How did that go?
Well, he was like, he didn't pull the binoculars up, like I said, or anything, and he was just like, "You're gonna shoot this." And I was like,
Okay.
"Okay, I guess I am." He was like, "Here's the rifle, here's the safety. You just look through it, find it, and then aim and shoot." And I was like, "Okay." I mean, it all happened so fast. I had no time to really think about what I was shooting. My adrenaline was going so fast
Yeah.
that I didn't feel it kick or anything,
Yep.
and I just it all happened so fast.
Wow. So that's pretty funny. I guess I didn't when we talked about it. I guess I didn't realize that it transpired quite like that. Did you know how good of a buck it was
No,
when you shot?
I did not, to be honest, I did not even see any horns at all before I shot it. Cody was the one that saw the horns. I didn't see any of
Really?
it.
Oh my
Mhm.
word. Geez, I didn't. So I'm learning stuff here. I know we talked about it when on the track, but
Yeah.
this, this is fun. So you had no when you squeeze the trigger on a gun you've never shot before, you had
Mhm.
no idea what you were shooting.
No, I didn't. I he told me this is a big buck. You have to shoot it, and I was like, okay. I didn't have time to think about what I was shooting. I didn't have any time to do anything but focus on aiming and shoot.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
probably a good thing. You focus on
I don't
aiming and
think
shooting.
yep, I don't think I would've if we would've went to a range, I don't think I would've shot it. I probably would've s been a little bit of a scaredy cat, but I didn't have time, couldn't do anything, so
Yeah. And Cody didn't give you a choice. Good job, Cody.
no. Nope.
That's very funny. Have you shot that rifle since?
No,
So you've
I have
shot a
not.
rifle outside of a 22 at a range that you were telling me about. You've
Mhm.
never shot a rifle before. The only one time you've ever shot a rifle, a 450 caliber here in Michigan, was to down your beautiful buck.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll be doggone. So that's awesome. I did not know about
Mhm.
it. It happened all quite like that. So
Yeah.
yeah. So you didn't feel it. Your heart was beating, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty hard. Or did you have time to even get
Mhm.
excited? Were you excited at the time of the shot, or was it just like all the auditory exclusion and you just all focused on the deer, or what?
I mean, I was pretty focused on trying to get a good shot. The way it was standing, it was quartering towards me, and I tried my best, but there's these
Hmm.
really cool headphones that Cody has, and there's, like, a
Yeah.
microphone, so I could hear him talking to me while they're on my
Yep.
head,
Yep.
and he was just like, "Just aim, just relax, just aim," and it was pretty much just trying to find it through the scope was the biggest hassle for me, and once I thought I found a good spot, I just pulled the trigger and that was it, but
And
my adrenaline was way through the
that was it.
roof.
You didn't hear that? Yeah, it must be. He's got like some noise canceling headphones or
Yeah,
something there. Yeah, those
mhm,
are nice, and that's cool
those
that you
are
had them
so
on.
cool. Yeah,
Yep. Okay. Well, how cool is that? So what? So okay. So you squeeze the trigger. You don't hear the gun go bang. You don't hear the recoil, but you see the deer jump and take off into the woods, right?
well,
So
I
what
didn't
did
even
Colt?
see it jump.
Oh, really?
I didn't see it jump at all, I just turned around and looked at Cody, and he said, "You got it," and I was like, "Heck yeah."
Yeah, of course I did. What do you mean?
That's
Yeah,
about it.
heck yeah, I got it. So was Cody pretty stoked about it?
Oh, yeah, we gave a few high fives and stuff and told me he was proud and all the fun stuff.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, um, how long did you guys wait before you went down to go retrieve it?
I think it was a little over an hour, maybe like an hour and
Okay.
15 minutes, something like that. But
What were
we
you doing that hour? Shaking? Did that adrenaline ever hit you then and you start to shake and get excited or what?
um I don't know, I think it might have died down a little bit, but I was
Okay.
excited to go and try and find some blood, but
Okay.
that
So
didn't
tell
work
me tell
out
me
so
about
well.
that then. Tell me about
Well,
that then.
that that didn't work out so well at first because we knew where I shot it, and we probably spent a good 15-20 minutes just looking around where I shot it. We didn't find anything, and so I just kept looking around, and I found one tiny dot of blood on a leaf. Just one
Okay.
single one. And then
Yep.
we couldn't really find much more after that. There wasn't it wasn't a whole lot of blood after that.
Okay. So at least you found that one spot. But so when you weren't finding blood, what did you guys do at that point then?
We just kept looking and looking, and eventually we found more, and it was kind of far apart, and then
Yeah.
we just kept finding more and more. So we decided to just keep going, and then Cody said we probably shouldn't keep going because I want to let it do its thing for a little longer,
Yeah.
but we kept going, and there was a lot of trees and brush and
It was pretty thick in there.
everything you can imagine trying to track it, and
Yeah.
maybe a few scrapes, but it was all worth it.
Yeah, it sure was. Because you guys did end up finding some blood, and it
Yeah.
became you were able to track it fair. I mean, other than getting through that thick, gnarly brush that it was in, you ended up finding trackable blood that you could actually track the deer fairly well. I mean, I know it was kind of spread apart, but you were able to advance it, right?
Yes.
With pretty good visible blood. Okay.
Hmm.
So how far roughly do you think you guys tracked it on your own?
I don't even know. I was getting too mad that we couldn't find it for the longest time. I don't know how long. I mean, we were out there for an hour and a half trying to
Okay.
keep tracking it,
So
but I don't know how long or how far.
so what made you guys decide to pull out? Because you were getting
Mm.
frustrated. Cody had reservation. Something was telling him he needed to wait. We should
Yeah.
probably wait. But probably what you guys were just seeing just enough blood to keep enticing you to keep going. Is that what happened?
Yeah, for the most part, we wanted to we really wanted it because he knew that it was big, and I didn't know that it was big because I didn't see very much of it.
Yeah.
But we we knew we needed to stop when I was standing about 10 yards from it, still alive, bedded up next to a tree that had uprooted out of the ground.
So there you go. So you guys were able to track it and you found it alive an hour and a half later.
Yeah,
And you got within 10 yards of it?
I think so. Yeah, I
Roughly,
at first I
roughly about.
didn't see it. Yeah, because there was a bit of a tree in front of it, and then
Yep.
it was bedded down, and then the tree behind it. So I didn't see it at first till I was like right up against it, and I was like, "Yep, we need to go."
Was Cody there with you too? Did he see the deer too?
um, I don't know if he saw it. He might have seen a little bit of it, but by that time I was pretty much like, "We gotta go back the other way," because
Okay.
I didn't want to disturb it.
Well, that was 100% the right thing to do. So you got a decent look at it, in the wound bed, and that wound bed was probably 150 yards from the shot site.
Yeah,
Because
I knew it
when
was
we tracked,
far.
I found the wound bed, and frankly, in the tracking world, that's not all that far. But when you're tracking it and you're frustrated and it's taking you an hour and a half to go 150 yards, it seems like it's a long way, kiddo. I know
Yeah.
that's for sure. And with the anxiety and the anticipations I'll build up. So now you've tracked this deer, you're 10 yards away from it, in a wound bed up against a giant root ball of a fallen over tree.
hmm
And you got a good look at him at that point, right?
Somewhat, yeah.
Somewhat.
I
So
still didn't see much.
so you didn't see his horns well at that point?
I saw them, but I
Couldn't
didn't
really
want
make him
to
out.
stand there long enough to see how many or how wide
Yeah.
or whatever.
You just knew that, oh my goodness, there's a deer. He's not in good shape. We gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about how the deer appeared to you. Because I know you described it to me before when you come up on him.
His eyes were a bit glazed over. I could tell that he heard us because he lifted his head just a tiny bit and put it right back down, didn't really move much at all. And Cody was like, well, he's probably gonna die soon, but just didn't know when. So honestly, at that point, I was kind of scared because I've never seen it like that before. And I was like, I just wanted to get out.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, well, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you waited about an hour to tracking, hour and a half or
hmm
something you said, and it took you about
Yeah.
an hour and a half to track to his first wound bed to where you found him.
Yeah.
So we were 2.5 or 3 hours after the shot that you come up on him when he was not doing well, right? Roughly
Yes.
somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys did the right thing there. You backed out. So what's going through your mind at this point?
Well, we're walking back through all the thick brush and junk, and we come out to the field, and I really didn't say much because I was so mad. And we walked back to the truck, and we went up to his mom's house, and he was mad. He really wanted to find it for me, so he just kept running through things in his head of what can I do? What can I do? And I was just like, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't, I wasn't saying much at that point.
Mhm.
And um, he was like, I think I might know of someone, but I'm not sure how it quite works. And I was like, well, you might as well give it a shot. So we did.
Yeah.
And here you are.
Here I am. So, but something happened between um you coming up on the deer and then calling me, right? Because didn't you go back because you knew where he was? You first tracked it, you
Yeah.
knew where he was. So they said, okay, he needs more time. So you guys left, and then you went back to get him, right?
Yeah, I think we waited a little bit longer. We, when we were first tracking, we went a little, we went in a little bit, and then for some reason, we put down the gun and kept tracking. And so we came back to get the gun, and when we went back, the deer was not there anymore, and the
That
amount
deer,
of
yeah.
anger, I was so mad.
So
I was
that's where
like,
the
I do
anger
not
came in.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, I do not know how this deer could have moved looking like that. But it
yeah.
was not there.
It was
And
not there.
Cody had questioned a few times if that was the spot that we even found it in. But we were like,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
we know that tree, so that's where it was.
Yep. And did you guys look for it at all after you went back and it was gone? I don't remember. Did you say you
Yeah,
looked around
we
at all?
yeah, we did look. We saw some blood um going from the wound bed, but we weren't sure if that was the way we had come into it or not.
Oh,
And then we found another place of that there was blood, and we tracked it a little bit, not very far at all, and then we couldn't find any more blood. So we kind of gave up at that point.
that's when you backed out. And
Yeah.
that must be when Cody said, I
Yep.
think I know a guy, but I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So when Cody called me, let me see, I was on the phone with somebody else. I think I was talking to somebody about another track, actually.
Mhm.
I was
Yeah.
doing some, and I got Cody pinged in on Messenger.
Yep.
So I'm like, man, I couldn't, and I was still talking to this, and then I think I can't remember if he called, but I know his mom called me too because I know Jen, known her for a
Yep.
long time, and love her to death. And so then I got a message from Jen, and I'm like, man, I was still engaged with whatever I was doing. So
Yeah.
that's when I messaged back to Cody, and Cody and I ended up talking, and
Yeah.
that's when Cody started telling me the situation, not to this awesome, great detail that we're talking through here. I'm learning a whole bunch, but enough to make a track plan, So I knew immediately, based on what he described, that we need to a minimum of 12 hours is how much we need to give that deer, even though. I was a little concerned. I'm going to tell you what Cody described the blood in the wound bed. He said clots, and when you hear clots, trackers start to cringe a little bit because
Yeah.
that's certainly not a good thing. But I didn't. I'm like, oh. But
Mhm.
the way you guys described that deer, and when you come up on it, just barely picking his head up, eyes. I said, man, it's more than just a muscle hit for sure. So we gave it that 12 hours. But I'd asked you guys to do something before I come out. You remember
Mhm.
what that was?
We had to ribbon off where we a few spots that we saw blood, and
Yeah.
Cody did way more than he had to, but
Yes, he did.
it helped a
Yeah.
lot. Um, we marked the wound bed, the first place that I found blood, and a lot of places along the way that were big blood
Yeah.
spots, not just one speck.
Yep. Yep. So what I had asked Cody to do, I says, I, I I asked him to go back out and mark the hit site while it was still daylight. Because what time in the morning did you shoot the deer? Must have been around
I think
9.
it was 9:15. Yep.
Yep. Because I said we can't go out there until 9 o'clock. I says that's the soonest I would come. So because that was 12 hours.
Mhm.
So I told Cody, I said, hey, go back out there while it's still daylight. Don't rummage around a lot, but just go out there quietly and mark the hit site and maybe first blood. So we know. Well, you're right. Cody did much more than that. He he
Yep.
marked he marked basically the entire line where
Mhm.
the lion's share of the blood was, because there wasn't great blood. Then we got into a spot there about mid track where there was really quite a bit of blood. I could see it
Yeah.
at night being dragged behind a 80-pound bloodhound, and I wasn't wearing my glasses, so I could see it. So there was some
Yeah.
decent blood there for a little bit, and he had flagged that along the way. So um, it was nice, because as a tracker, we like to know that we're on the line, especially if we can't see blood. And then it's always nice to know the hunter's point of loss or last bullet. So what was going through your mind then when I told Cody, I says, "Hey man, we got to wait 12 hours."
I mean, there was a lot of mixed feelings. I knew I just had a really deep gut feeling that we were gonna be able to find it, but then Cody was over here like, I don't know, I don't have a good feeling. And I was like, well, now I don't know what to think because we're saying two different things. And I kind of just tried to not be upset anymore. And I kind of tried to accept the fact that if we didn't find it, we didn't find it. It was what it was. But most of my feelings were that we were going to find it. We just kind of basically that whole time after the call and to when you came, we spent most of it getting permission from people and taking the tape out
Yep.
there and taping it where we could.
Yeah, the flagging tape and marking the line and getting permission from the neighbor. Yep.
Yep.
All of the right things, by the way, kiddo. So
Yep.
so that was well done. I was gonna say so did Cody recognize this deer? When did Cody realize what deer you had shot? Did he recognize that right away?
I mean, from when I was looking at it before I had even shot it, it did not look like when we found it in the wound bed. And
Yeah,
it looked more different after because I thought it looked bigger in when it was laying down than when we found it. I don't know for him though. I'm not sure.
because I know that when you were working on getting permissions, he said he talked to one of the neighbors, and he told him what deer it was, and that neighbor got um, got a little excited because it was a deer that the neighborhood was after, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I think it was a different one that they were looking for or had seen on
Oh,
trail cameras. It might have been. I don't. I've
not
heard
sure.
mixed things about that, so I'm not sure.
Well, okay. When I know when I was talking to Cody in the moment, they thought it was so,
Yeah.
and that's often how it goes. Now that we're weeks past, and you've seen the deer and talked to other people. Maybe it wasn't, but all that means is you had a couple of good deer out there because your deer is no slouch, Em. I would absolutely put that deer on my wall.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Okay. So yeah, you guys did a good job there. Like you said, Cody overachieved in marking that line, and but that's
Yep.
okay. So you're going through all of these highs and lows of we're going to get this deer. Oh, we might not get this deer.
Mhm.
And then okay, so Cody calls me. I show up, and it was awesome because you guys are super close to home, and I like tracking for the local people. So now tell me about what was on your mind. What were you thinking when I got there? How did your spirits change? What emotions were you going through then, if any?
Well, first, I we got out of the truck and stuff, and you started getting all your gear on. I just thought the dog was the cutest thing ever at first, to be honest. And then I
That baby.
and then
She's back there.
I hear she's still cute. And then we I think one of the first things that I said to you was I think we're going to find it. If I
You did
remember
say
right.
that.
I
You
think that was
absolutely
one of the
said that.
first things.
You
Yeah,
said
and
you got a good feeling. You think we're going to find it. You 100%
yep,
said that.
yeah. And so I was just really, really hoping that we were gonna find it, and Cody was determined to find it, to say the least. Um, and I didn't really have any bad feelings at that point. It was earlier in the day. I was just excited to see how it was all gonna unfold because I had never seen anything like this before. I didn't even
Yeah.
know it was a thing, actually.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
it it tracking deer with dogs has really come on strong the last 5 or so years. It's been legal in Michigan
Yeah.
since 1998, but it bear with me. I'm going to share. I'm going to share a picture. Um, screen two. Well, there it is. Uh-oh. There it is. There we go. For the visual audience on Facebook, Tails on Trails Deer Trekking on Facebook, or Tails on Trails Deer Trekking on YouTube that are watching this, there you can see the picture of Emily's deer. Um, Sharing it here a little bit. You can, yeah, we'll talk about the pictures a little bit more as we go here, but um, so you're right, Em. You said that's one of the first things you said is I think we're going to find this deer, and I
Mhm.
like that kind of mojo.
Mhm.
Cause I can't remember. I said something smart, Alec, about that, but it was. I'm going to take this out now. Um, it was fun. So we get out there. We walk across the picked cornfield. We got to the corner of the woods that you talked about, where you saw the deer came out. That's where we started. And I'll take over a little bit here on the track. You're talking about it. So um, Brooke can be a little bit sometimes, and it's not uncommon for tracking dogs to have take a second to get started. But she did. She took a second to get started, but then she finally found the line and she took off. But then she took off heading back into the opposite direction that your deer went.
Mhm.
And I thought it seemed strange that she was going the way she's going based on where you and Cody said the wound bed was. But I'm like, well, we don't know where the deer went after it left the wound bed. So maybe it did backtrack and went up into what I think you guys called the pines.
Mhm.
So while you guys waited out there near the shot site, I let her go. I let her go because she was tracking something. It was probably a fresh deer scent. She has a tendency to do that. She's getting a lot better at it as the season um, as the season wore on. She got a lot better on her goose chases, but she's always good for at least one goose chase, it seems like. And this was yours. And she took us way back into these pines. And when I got to a creek that I had to cross and didn't want to, I said, I'm not crossing this creek unless I see blood. And I didn't see blood. So I'm like, okay, that's when I got on the radio, I think, and hollered back to you guys that I'm going to come
Mhm.
back out and we'll do a restart. So we came back out all the way through those pines and we did the restart. And then from there, she really locked on pretty decent from there.
Mhm.
So she got going. So what we're in, and as I typically do, I had you and Cody stay behind me and call out blood when you see it. Um, um, but the trail was also marked. So what's going through your mind at this point now when she really seemed to be, when we came back and we start heading through the thick stuff, not these wide open pines?
Well, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. Cody,
Yeah.
when we were when you had said, like, "I'm coming up on a creek here," or whatever, Cody's like, "I didn't even know there was a creek over there." So that was kind of funny. We had a little bit of a laugh there. But,
Yeah.
yeah,
It was funny.
we were standing there for good 5 minutes, and, um, we were pretty far behind because we were going through
Yeah.
all this thick stuff and trying to dodge branches and trees and stuff. It
Right.
was not the easiest. Um, but then we just kept going, and she was pretty fast. I was surprised about that. I don't know,
Yeah.
I couldn't keep up. But she was pretty quick, and we were just plugging through and trying to keep on going, and I think I actually tripped over a branch or something that was on the ground, and I had the light in my hand, and Cody's like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "I'm over here." It was a mess. But but it was we got to the first wound bed, and she kind of was like smelling around, and I think you had stopped us there at that point just to make sure she was going the right
Yeah.
way, because she was going the opposite way of where we had seen the blood earlier. So, but she seemed to be on it, so we just kept going, and she eventually went into a somewhat good area where there wasn't branches. There was just a bunch of like tall grass that we could
Yeah.
actually get through, which was nice. Um, and then we you told us to stop. And I was like, okay, well, I guess we'll just stand here for a minute. And Cody and I were talking, and you had said something about a second wound bed. And I was
Right.
like, well, this doesn't sound like anything we've come up across yet. And so we just stopped, and I think Cody and I were talking a little bit. And I think I said, like, what if he found it? Or what if we have to keep going? Because we were tired the whole day already
Yeah.
walking, and we were tired. And so you had said about taking a break, and I was like, well, I sure could use a break. And then I think you told us to keep coming, and then you tried to hide it, but it didn't work very well.
It's a big
um,
deer.
it didn't work.
No, it
I
didn't work.
it didn't work, and so I saw the head and the antlers to the right of you, and it was I don't even know what after that. So many
It,
things rolling through my head.
yeah. It was a lot of fun, Emily. That and you're right. So she once she got locked on after that long goose chase, and some of that is just having for her to burn off. She needs to burn off energy. Being young dog is part
Mhm.
of that. But once she got locked on, it was game on from there. And you talk about
Mhm.
moving fast. Yeah, I know this
Yeah.
52-year-old guy knows how fast she goes. Trust me. And and she has no regard for the limitations of a 52-year-old man. I will tell you that. So yeah, and
Yeah.
you said you fell down. I didn't know that, but what you didn't know
I
is I
think.
probably fell down too. If I don't fall down on a track at least once, it's not tracking. So I don't remember if I think this is one I probably didn't fall down on, one of the darn few. But
Yeah.
don't feel bad about falling down in the dark in the woods.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun. So yeah, once she got on it, I was feeling pretty good about it too. And frankly, I thought I assess all of my tracks in my tracking records. After the track, I go back and I enter some information to keep track of my tracks, my tracking
Mhm.
log. And one of the things that I keep track of was my pre-track, how I felt the chances of recovery were before going into the track, just based on the information the hunter provided. And I either
Mhm.
said it's greater than 50%, it's 50%, or it's less than 50%. That's how I assess it.
Mhm.
And I was greater than 50% on your track, just the way you described it. I thought we were gonna. I just had a good feeling about it too.
Mhm.
And then as she got locked on, and I started going, I'm seeing the blood intermittently, and then I'm seeing Cody's ribbons every 8 yards, and we got past the wound bed, and there was no stopping her at that point. I was feeling very, very good about it too. So, and you're right, it was about 50 yards ish, if I remember right. It seemed like it was only 50, maybe 75 yards past the wound bed where you guys saw it, that we found the deer. So you're right. I tried to pull a fast one on you and said, hey, I think I had you guys stop at the first wound bed. I had you guys stay there in case I had to come back to it. So, but she was just moving like a trooper. So in that tall grass, all of a sudden the lead went slack, and she wasn't pulling me anymore. And about 2 steps later, I saw the deer there, and I go, oh, there's the wound bed. So I tried to pull a fast one on you and say, oh, I found another wound bed, which is true. It was his final wound bed, but it was another wound bed. So it's not fibbing to you. Hold on a second. What are you doing? No, stop it. Sorry about that. How about that for live recording with a bloodhound doing my custom dynamics Harley Davidson parts. But anyway, yeah. So I tried to pull a fast one on you and say, "Hey, I found another wound bed. Come on up." And I'll mark this one, and then well, I couldn't. You guys were on to me at that point, weren't you?
At least
you were. You knew we were going to find it.
Yeah.
Now, when you guys got up there, though, I never touched the deer. I don't think it's my place to be the first one to touch a hunter's deer when we find it. So we just found it, and then I stepped off you're right. I tried to take my light and shine it away from the deer and tried to hide it, but I couldn't do that very well. So I stood off to the side because I don't like to be the first one to touch the hunter's deer. I think that's the hunter's thing. So, but you just stood there, Em.
I did.
You were about 6 yards away.
Yep, I was. I stood there and I just looked at it for a second, and I know I didn't tell you this, but I'm going to share it now. The reason that I cried pretty hard for a couple minutes there, but the reason for that is because about, I'd say, almost 2 months before that day, my grandfather passed away, and he hunted. It was my dad's dad, and we all hunted. And when we found it, I really thought that like finding it was, I think he kind of was looking over me on that one. And so that's why I was crying for
a
couple
you
minutes.
Didn't tell me that. Now I'm getting all kind of welled up a little bit.
Yeah.
So Grandpa was with you on this one, huh?
I think so, yeah.
Oh my gosh, Emily, that is no wonder. Well,
yeah.
I'm so happy I could be there to share that with you in a a small way, or be a part of Grandpa's guidance to help you recover your biggest deer to date, Emma. Oh my goodness, I did not know that. Oh, I knew it was an emotional moment for you, but I did not know that's why.
And I think that, and just it being the biggest one and having Cody with me, it was just an overabundance of happiness, emotions, all of it just all wrapped up. And I didn't go up to it for a couple minutes, and then finally went up and all the pictures and stuff. And but it was quite the night.
It sure was, and it was a great ending to a night. So I was really happy that it worked out that way. So, wow, Emily, I did not know the story about your grandpa. That just
Yeah.
just makes it all the more special. It makes me all the more
Mhm.
happy. And I mean
Yeah.
this in all sincerity, all the more happy that I was able to help with that. That is, just a small part. That just makes me so
Yeah.
happy. Oh, I keep looking at the pictures. So you're right. When I knew it was an emotional moment for you, and I kind of intruded on that slightly when I stepped back and when you were giving Cody a hug there for a few minutes and having your moment, I snapped that picture. Um,
Yeah.
I I think I love that picture.
I do
It's a
too.
beautiful,
I look at it all the time.
good.
I'm absolutely so glad that you got that.
Yeah. So, but now it makes all the more sense. Yeah, Cody's on the phone
Yeah.
to, I can't remember if it was his
It
mom
was his
or
uncle.
his
His
uncle.
uncle.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Saying that they found a deer. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll let me bring that up again. I'll, so for those of you watching on YouTube or Facebook, this is the picture that we're talking about, the moment that I was able to capture with Emily and Cody after the deer and or after the finding the deer. And this was just a minute within finding the deer, so it's not very 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 close within finding the deer, or you guys getting to the deer, I should say.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's an awesome moment. That this picture is going to be on the thumbnail, so for the
Hmm.
but yeah, that's a great picture. And then if we zoom in for those watching, you see here just what a beautiful deer that truly was.
Hmm.
Beautiful deer. I would put that deer on my wall in a minute. You know.
That is where it's going.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and these pictures really don't do it justice as I'm looking on the. It's a dandy buck. It's a dandy buck, and you picked a great taxidermist too. I'll give a shout out to Dan and Emily Weeks at the Nature's Pride Taxidermy in Concord, Michigan. They mounted. They did a mount for me, my biggest deer ever, um, in 2020. They did a mount. They did a European mount for me, and they just do beautiful work. They're great people, and they're close. So you picked a good taxidermist. So I really look forward to seeing that deer when you get him back.
Hmm.
I remember I told you guys I got to get a picture of it when you get him back.
Yep.
It'll be several months, but it's worth the wait. It's
Hmm.
worth the wait. You'll walk in there and you'll relive the whole moment all over again when you see him on the wall when you go to pick him up. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Cool, Emily. Well, that was great. So then, and of course, all of the shenanigans of getting it. Remember Baru hiding?
I do. That picture was just it
I don't
looked
think I
like
had.
we made her pose for it.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, it's Baru, my tracking dog, my bloodhound. She's really weird. She loves tracking deer. Oh boy, does she love tracking deer! But
I have the picture.
you have the picture.
I
I do
do.
too, but I don't think I have it on my computer to where I can share it up here. I'd have to email it to myself, and maybe I could do that. But she
Send it
she
to
loves tracking deer, but when she finds it, she almost doesn't care about it, and she gets really weird about it.
Mhm.
In that, oh, I see what you did. Yeah, cool. She doggone it, bear with me here. Here we go. Oh yeah, here we go. Now I'll be able to pull it up now. Let me. Here we go. She goes off and she might lick the deer. She might, but she doesn't like to engage with it much. And most of the time, what she does is goes off and hides. And I don't know how well you can see it on the screen here as I share it, but we turned around and look, and she's hiding in the weeds, just sitting back, just kind of hiding off to the side, blended in here. It was so funny. I wish I could.
It's almost like we made her do it.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like I think. Here we go. There we go. For those watching on YouTube, there you go. You can see it here. It's like it's all right. It's almost like we posed her,
Yep.
set her up
Yep.
there, and posed her in position. But that's not the case at all. She just went over there.
No.
But it was funny. In fact, she hates the pictures. She's getting a lot better. This late into the season, she's getting much better about the picture. She's not quite as freaked out to be around the deer now, but she still is a little freaky at your deer, Em. And
Yeah.
one of the early recoveries this season, it was a young man's first buck, just a 10-year-old. I think Jackson was 10, his first buck. And Grandpa had my phone, and I had to pick Baru up and carry her over to the deer because she wouldn't come for the picture. And Grandpa got a picture of me carrying the deer. It's pretty funny. So
That's cool.
that's just, I don't know why she hates it so much. She loves to find it, but she just for whatever reason, she just doesn't like to be around it. And if she can do it on her own terms, if she can lick the deer and sniff it on her own terms without someone making her do something, she's cool. But that's funny. So
Yeah.
So you processed your deer. How much meat did you get off it?
I think it was like 51 pounds.
51 pounds. Yeah, that was a good deer.
Yeah.
That was a good deer. Well, congratulations, kiddo. That was a lot of fun. It was a great track. It was a great track, and it's even more special now that based on what you told me about Grandpa, I didn't know that, and that is so great, and well deserved, kiddo. And hopefully it's not your last. You have a long hunting career ahead of you, but that's a really nice deer. It took me a long time to get a deer that good, I will tell you that. So congratulations, kiddo.
Thank you.
Any last thoughts, Emily? Anything you want to share or say or comment on, or questions or anything?
I don't think so. I thought that's the first time I had ever seen a dog track a deer, and just the whole radio communication, knowing when to stop, go, seeing her just run right past you. It was really cool. It was really cool, and I'm glad Cody and I both got to see it. It was definitely a good experience.
Cool. Well, that's awesome, and I'm glad it was, and I appreciate you giving me a chance to come out and help you guys, and it was a great track. It was a great buck. You guys did everything right. As far as track management goes, you didn't, when you found the deer in its first wound bed and you knew you backed right out, you went back to, he's going to finish it off. And when it wasn't there, you're like, uh-oh. And you managed the track right. You didn't continue to tromp around and drive the deer out of the county. So, although the dog found it, the dog found it because you guys managed the track pretty well. So, and it was, and the deer was hit back. So the deer was quartering away. It was hit behind the ribs entrance, and it was quartering towards you a little bit. And I'm trying to remember. I think it exited back of the body, in front of the rear hamstring, quite a bit in front. But anyway, it was a gut shot. I can't remember if it got liver or not, but
it was a little bit of a liver too. Yeah, when we got back to look at it, it was. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and that makes sense because you hit the deer on the left side on that angle, so it exited, clipped the liver on the way out on that quartering to, or Q2 angle, as we call it in the biz. It was a Q2, Q2M. Well, cool, kiddo. Well, congratulations, man. Thank you for having us out. Thank you for the kind words. It was a lot of fun. And,
Yep.
and that is, folks, that is Emily's tale of the track. That is the tale of the track. So, just coming up, I have another tale of the track lined up with another guy that I tracked for another, again, just around the corner from the house. We got a recovery for him. Mark said that he'd like to come on and talk about his track, so we'll do that. You'll have to listen to him. Then I got another tracker in the Michigan Deer Tracking Network. By the way, I'm sporting my MDTN Michigan Deer Tracking Network sweatshirt and hat here. Shout out to the Michigan Deer Tracking Network, who's done some amazing work this year. First year off lead tracking, and for those that have dogs that are ready for off lead. So I'm anxious to see what the recovery stats look like from a network perspective. I think it's going to be well over 1,000 deer recovered. The 50 whatever guys in the network, so it'll be a lot of fun. Then one of the network trackers wants to come on and talk about his season. He has some good stories, and he's another young tracker too. So we have some stuff lined up for Tales on Trail Deer Tracking podcast. So it'll be fun. We'll get them out when we get them out. I think I'll put this one out. I'll probably broadcast it for tomorrow. It'll go live, so you can make sure Dad and your friends see it, and we'll go from there if they want to see it. So is that Cody? Are you looking at Cody?
It is. He peeked in the door.
Tell him to get over here and get on camera. Tell him to come around
He
here.
said, "Get over here." He might want to tell you something. Me too. Trust me.
He's not going to do it. There he is. Oh, whoa. Oh, my gosh. Oh,
And
you didn't tell me.
My other earbud died, so I only have this one.
Hi, Cody.
He said hi.
All right.
Hi.
Okay. He should have joined the podcast, but that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Emily. Well, congratulations, kiddo. You did a great job. It was super fun tracking for you. This podcast was fun. This live stream was fun. I look forward to next year and you shooting the even bigger buck and not needing help tracking it.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, man, congratulations, kiddo. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for having us out, and it was a ton of fun.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, guys. So if you want to see the video of this, guys, go to Tales on Trails Deer Tracking on Facebook and YouTube. Or it will be uploaded to all of the standard audio podcast platforms. So more of the good, less of the bad, guys. Talk to you soon. See you, Em. Bye.
Yeah.
Stay with me, Em.